Hey guys, Wade Willis here, doing my playthrough of Umineko, and I decided to get back into this because it looks like with Higurashi, they're introducing stuff from this other part of the world. From a lot of people have been saying it's from Umineko, so I wanted to get into this. I'm going to be doing, so I'm going to pick up where I left off. I am going to be reading it. I know some people told me that there's patches and stuff. Like, I have a Mac and I'm doing this through Steam, and I'm not gonna mess with trying to do the patches on here. I'm just, yeah, it was, I was trying to figure it out, and it took me a really long time to set up Fate on my computer, and I'm just doing this a different way than I was doing Fate, so this is how it's gonna be. Hopefully it's acceptable. But yeah, excited for this. And yeah, I'm hoping it's okay with the music and I don't get like flagged and stuff. But we'll kind of we'll cross that bridge when we get to that. But yeah, I had to get into this since Higurashi looks like they're dipping into this world, and like I know some of the witches and stuff because of their names and people mention them, but I haven't like dealt with them in Umineko. So I'm gonna try to jam through this in the next few weeks before we finish Higurashi. So we'll see if I get it done. Come on, Rosa. And you brats too. What the hell are you doing? Let's get going. Okay, we're coming. The old bastard was waving for us to hurry. Yeah, we need to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in our rooms. Now then, everyone, allow me to lead you to the guest house where you will be spending the night. Please, this way. He called out to everyone and led the way. Kumusawa-san brought up the rear. I gotta try to do better in pronunciations for this now, guys. Okay, some random images. Alright. A serpentine twisting path led through a dim forest. Ran a bit uphill. I guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep. But personally, I'd have been happier if they'd had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made the path twist on purpose to put airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. Ah, from here on, I do have some memories. Go up these and... At the top of the stone steps, we saw a beautiful guest house. Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose garden spreading before it. Like I keep saying, it isn't like that at all. And Kyrie, stop it, you're freaking me out. You've made our rose wilt, whatever. Hey, Maria-chan, look over here. These roses are especially magnificent. Magnificent roses? Ooh. Smells pretty sweet. Look, this suits my elegance perfectly. Hey, cut it out. Maria's gonna imitate you again and get hurt by the thorns. She yelled at me and leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around I saw Maria imitating every gesture and George smiling broadly at us. Hey now, Maria-chan, be careful. Rose thorns can hurt. George Oni-chan? Only this rose is strange. Ooh. Strange? What's wrong? Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of these magnificent roses, one single rose was starting to wilt. Foreshadowing? There wasn't any particular reason. Some flowers flourish and others wilt. That's all there is to it, but Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. It must have made her feel lonely. So you feel so you feel sad for this rose because it's the only one that isn't healthy? Hmm. The others are healthy, but this one's sad. Well, they all bloom and wither at their own paces. I bet this one's just starting to wilt early because it got to bloom before any of the other ones. Yeah, that's right. It's probably just bloomed like crazy and fulfilled its duty and went to sleep. You shouldn't get too worked up about it. It seemed that Maria's pure, sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that was wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her. Then Maria-chan, why don't you look over this rose until we leave? Ooh? George straightened up and felt around his pocket, and then took out a wrapper from candy he had been sucking on the plane. He twisted it into a thin string and gently tied the rose around the rose as a sort of marker. Hey, that's pretty cute. Let's mark it with this. Later on, you can come and give it some water. I'm sure Mr. Rose will be happy. Come to give it water. I think you should give Mr. Rose here a name. I'm sure that'll make it happy, and you'll get to know it a little better. A name? Namae? A name? Ooh. I thought she wore her little usual sullen face. Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going. George Nissan has always been really understanding. Can't help but respect him. Yeah, I guess he was just born that way. We've got to start picking up tips. Was this garden just as magnificent when you all were kids? It was only after I stopped living here that it grew so big. Before that, the garden was simpler, though I'm still attached to that one. Nissan fiddled with it too much, with that vaguely bad taste of his. I liked it much better before. Eva, you've got to think positive. Setting aside how it used to look, its beauty now is something to be admired. You'll be able to relax a lot better if you look at it that way. I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that I wanted to see the garden the way it was before too. Sounded like you meant it that way. Everyone, if you please. I shall guide you to your rooms now. Goto-san called out to everyone to ask if we were ready. But our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year, so we didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged by anyone to do or anything. Understanding the situation, Goto-san continued to wait, smiling widely until our parents got tired of the roses and told them to guide us to our rooms. Oh. Hey! If it isn't Canon-kun. It's been so long, how are you doing? Uncle suddenly shouted. In the direction he... Oh, wow, I thought that was... I was like, Canon sounds like a guy, and then I was like, oh, it's a girl, and then it's a guy. Okay. In the direction he was waving was a slender boy. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goda was probably emphasized his small stature. The boy was in the middle of transporting a piled up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. That was not translated well. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down his wheelbarrow and took his hat off and bowed his head. Good afternoon. I figured he was probably younger than me, and I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsocial most of the time. It was a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goda-san noticed that our interest had shifted toward him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us. Butler-sama, allow me to introduce you. This is one of the servants of the Ushiromiya head household. Kanan-san, greet our guest. I'm pleased to meet you. I am this servant, Kanan, with the kanji that I will not understand. Yep, my impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at the very least is not so good at talking. Compared to Goda-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goda-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanan only cast his eyes downward. Kanan-san, could you perhaps give them a little more of a greeting? No, because we are furniture. Whoa. He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say in his greeting. Well, Kanan-kun is shy and doesn't tend to talk much. He might not be that sociable, but deep down, he's a really good person. Don't get him wrong. You've been working here for 3 years, haven't you? Pretty sure you started before Goda-san, right? Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression, Jessica hurriedly backed him up. I see, apparently his unsociable nature causes him trouble a lot. Okay then, nice to meet you. I'm Battler. I'm 18, how old are you? He fell silent as though wondering whether or not it was a question he'd have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead. If I remember correctly, Kanan's 2 years younger than us, so 16, right? Yes, that's correct. He looked like he would have preferred not to tell us his age if given a choice. That was probably because he thought we'd look down on him for it. I remember that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I see, 16, huh? That's gotta be a delicate time. Like, you're a freaking 18, dude. It's not like you're 40 saying that. Which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have. I'm glad you're about our age. Just be cool and call me Battler. And I'll call you Kanan. Thank you very much. But the sentiment alone is sufficient, Battler-sama. Jessica looked panicky for a reason. She seemed to think my impression of Kanan was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. As his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. I'm not gonna lie, so far I do like Battler a lot. He has like an interesting kind of thing about him. He has a certain je ne sais quoi. Kanan-san, could you perhaps be a little more courteous? A smiling face is also part of a servant's duty. My apologies. I shall make an effort. Ho 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 ho! Goto-san, Kano-kun is trying his best, yes? Why did I make her sound like a man? I don't know. It looked like he was often warned about being unsociable. And apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Goto-san kept his business smile, but let a small sigh of resignation escape. Well then, I have some work to do. If you'll excuse me? It looked like Ken himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. After another perfunctory bow, he turned. Just then, the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell scattering low. I guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel got caught on a pebble and lost its balance. What do you think you're doing? Now, clean it up quickly. Goto-san urged him in a quiet voice, as though hinting it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of guests. Kanen-kun wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with fallen objects, as if to say he understood quite well without being told. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels, and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around lifting up some of the sacks of fertilizer. Are you okay? You're so careless. Here. Milady, you will dirty your garments. Please, leave this to us. With a smooth motion, Goto-san took the shovel that Jessica picked up. Behind him, Kanen was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Ew! You'll dirty your garments? Don't worry, the ones I'm wearing aren't that expensive. Besides, I hate guys who just sit there and make the waitress pick up the fork they dropped at a restaurant. I lifted up the bags that had fallen. Of course they weren't light, but for me it was a piece of cake. Cool, bro. Kanen-kun looked at me surprised. It was the face of someone who would have never expected to receive help from a guest. Butler-sama, don't worry about it. I will take care of everything, so... Don't you worry. I may not look it, but I've got it where it counts. Hehehe. I hope he's not referring to his dong. Since Kanen-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt, he was stuck with a sort of weak body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him. It's quite heavy. It's natural to think it would be difficult for you. Don't worry about it, Kanen-kun. Okay, it's my time to shine. This makes up for the boat stuff before, right? Ha! As if this could make up for freaking out like that. Ha 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 ha. Later, I'll tell you about it too, Kanen-kun. Battler was totally hilarious. Gotta fall! Ooh. As they did this, I piled all the stuff back on the wheelbarrow. I beg your forgiveness for letting you witness such unsightliness. Come now, that's quite enough. Please go. Letting the guests who were supposed to feel welcome see such disgraceful things must have been hideously embarrassing for a servant. Pressed by Goto her to hurry up and go, Kanen-kun left. You're too harsh on him, Goto-san. Shouldn't you have helped him instead of being a bully? That was wrong of me. I deeply implore your forgiveness. Without even a twitch in his smile, Goto-san apologized elegantly. Kanen-kun has a ton of things he's good at too. It's just that being young works against him all the time. It's a crying shame. Well, it's a prickly age. Let's just leave him be. After all, closed-mouth servants are the best kind. Isn't that right? Ha 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 ha. Rudolph-sama, you truly are harsh. There is no servant as silent as me, of course. Everyone smiled wryly at that obvious lie. Even she herself didn't believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So she must have said it to lighten the mood. Yeah, that's the kind of character Kumasawa Ba-chan used to be. The once stiff atmosphere had cleared up at once, thanks to her cheerful smile. I'd like to set down our luggage soon. Goto-san, what rooms are we going to take? It shall be the same as the previous year. Allow me to guide you. Please, this way. We headed towards a trim, elegant, simple guest house. This is going to be our temporary quarters for the night. $17 million. I'm just picturing him like peeking over the little hedge like a creeper here. Cannon watched over the hedge as all the guests enter the guest house. Then he let his eyes fall on those heavy sacks of fertilizer piled up on the wheelbarrow. In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. Battler, big and strong, had picked up the sacks in front of him. The sacks Cannon couldn't lift himself as if they were feathers. It would be extremely difficult for an outside observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Cannon. But as far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something he just couldn't let go of. Yeah, there's like a lot of options here. One, he could have kind of a crush on Battler, or he could hate Battler for doing it, or I don't know, maybe something else. Muttered words escaped his lips, but those words he murmured were so soft that they didn't even reach his own ears. Even I. Cannon hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. I remember the Rose Garden, but I don't remember this guest house at all. Was it built recently? Toraiyan. Toraiyan was written on a gatepost thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the Rosens, had a magnificent design, carefully done in harmony with the garden. Correct? It was built the year before last. Ever since then, they've had a sleepover here. This place is more fun than that chunky old mansion, you know. I wish my room was over here. I want a room here too. I want one. I guess you could say that my own house was upper class, but to me, this felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they'd build this kind of awesome guest house for guests who came only a few times a year. That is super over the top. Eva-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, please do make use of this room. Rudolph-sama, Kyrie-sama, please take this room here. I really do love how beautiful and elegant this place is. Western-style architecture truly is wonderful. I can handle the Western design for a few days, but any longer than that and you need a good old Japanese look. Japanese people just relax best on tatami mats. Haha, they've been fighting over whether to make our new house Japanese or Western style. Mom still holds a grudge about Dad having the construction start with a Japanese layout, and they bicker about it all the time. I'm really jealous, George. Your parents get along well, don't they? Mine are so frosty. Then again, they're always in sync when it comes to my grades. All the rooms seemed to be for 2 people. I was grateful since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard under the pretext that we were family. And anyways, I figure those 2 wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around. What's with that creepy smile? You're thinking about something dirty, aren't you? Something dirty? Of course not. Yo, if Battler doesn't have sex with his stepmom, I'm gonna be a bit disappointed. Please enjoy your stay. Boing. That hurts, you old bastard. Once again, Dad pulled my ears from behind. Cut the crap. I'm getting a stomach ache, and I'm not in the mood for this. You're a guest of honor this time around, so play nice as possible with Dad and Aniki and the rest. At the very least, be careful of what you say in front of your dad, got it? Because wisecracks don't go too well with him. Jessica-chan, what's the head's mood been like lately? Same as last year, I guess. Considering they say he's got like 3 months left to live, and he's as lively and grumpy and irritable as ever. Meaning this year he's in his usual bad mood. And as usual, the only one who's able to look after him is Genji-san? It seems the master will open his heart to no one else. Lately, us small people have not even been granted an audience with him. He shut himself up in his study again, probably doing nothing but that weird black magic of his. What he does for a hobby in his own damn business, but when he starts stinking up the house, it really gets on my nerves. I wish he'd never come out of that study again. What a sassy... You shouldn't talk like that about the elderly. We're indebted to him since he rebuilt the Ushiromiya family. We should be more grateful. Well, sorry. After being rebuked by George, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief. But of course, that meant all of its members were a bit strange and completely out of touch with the world at large. And at the top of the chain, the family head, our grandfather, seemed to be especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected on his honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were jealous of us grandchildren who could just play around and laugh without a care. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his children, even his daughters mercilessly, with a wooden sword. If he was so strict and uptight about that, why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kids' names? Valid point. Because of that, even us grandkids have to suffer. Anyway, I can't say that I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. I don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time. Always making people cower with the sharp gaze of his. I remember that the room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around, so you couldn't even breathe. With what my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph with me. 6 years ago I was in elementary school, but I'm a high schooler now. If I act out, things could get serious. Ooh, scary. He does look frightening, but he's not so terrifying that you need to tense up like that. Nothing of what he says is truly unreasonable. He may be clumsy at talking, but he's a very logical person. But George, you've been the family darling since before because of your awesome grades, right? Grandfather treats us completely different. I've even got slapped with a wooden sword. On my ass! My ass! On my maiden innocent ass. Oh, gosh. No comment. Oh my gosh, did you guys notice how he had the anime glasses like gleam with that? That's so funny. Well, you're the heiress of the head family, Jessica-chan. Grandfather is giving you special attention. You've got to realize that his strictness reflects on his high hopes for you. Oh, come on. Seriously, I could just turn the succession over to you, George. It's a bit of a heavy burden for me to carry. I think I've already said it before, but Jessica is the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins in branch families, so she probably feels totally different. Feels a totally different sort of pressure than we do. Ooh? Jessica Oni-chan, is that heavy? If I help hold it, will it get lighter? Thanks. It's okay, I'm not gonna push it on you, Maria. I'm gonna bear this cross until my grave. Maybe it won't be very long. Don't worry. She was grateful for Maria's innocent concern, but Jessica's face seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the furniture. Maybe we're in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future. Maria, come here. You and I will be in this room. Battler, I heard you're going to be with me in this room here. Oh. Now there's a surprise. It's bigger than our parents' rooms. Dang! Well, I figure we cousins would want all to hang out together, so I told them to get a bigger room ready. I like it here more too. I'd rather be here than with Mama. Ooh, ooh. Oh, you like it here too, Maria? Okay, this room is George's and mine, but we'll give you a special permission to come in. Better keep it a secret from your mom, okay? Ooh, it's a secret. Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched tight. After setting down the luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor. Hey, what are you brats planning to do? Are you cousins just gonna stay here and chat? It seemed like they were hiding in the mansion to announce their arrival. Oh, heading, sorry. Normally they would make us follow them and greet everyone together. But if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that'd be the end of it. He's saying it's okay if we don't come, so what'll we do? Well, it's going to be lunchtime before too long anyway. Better let the kids unwind here. Besides, if worse comes to worse, this might be the last chance of them to play outdoors. Ooh, I'll go too. Maria, you sit here for Mama, okay? Behave yourself and wait here. Ooh. Since Maria was being told to house sit here, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. Georgia noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply for all of us cousins. Well then, we'll accept your offer and house sit. We've got lots of stories to tell each other after being away for a year. That sounds wonderful. And Battler-kun has 6 years worth of more stories to tell, doesn't he? Yeah. I'll take care of the house like a good boy. The tension between those two is awesome. Kumasawa-san, I'm gonna stay here too. We'll break rank and leave the rest to the adults. Hehehe. Perhaps that would be for the best. Ho 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 ho. I'll report it to Madam. Then allow me to guide you all to the mansion. This way, please. The other children are one thing, but George is going to be an adult. Wouldn't it be better if he came with us? If we make him come, then poor Georgie will be the only one out of place. Interacting with his cousins is also important. Okay, see y'all later. The adults left one after another. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Goda-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. As we gather in the room assigned to us cousins, George and Iki asked us to excuse him for a second. He rushed over to Kumasawa, who was following from behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. As soon as he finished his business, he came back. What's up? Nothing. I just wanted to ask her something. Tell me too. Tell me too. What could George be asking Kumasawa and not me, I wonder? I don't have a clue. No, it's a misunderstanding. Not that I know what you're misunderstanding. And Iki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It was almost as if he felt guilty about something and Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's no fun if Jessica gets to know about it and not me. Hey Maria, it looks like we're the only two out of the loop, right? Don't you want to know what they're talking about? Ooh! We want to know too. We want to know too. Ooh! I fooled around by oohing together with Maria. No, I'm telling you. It's not a big deal. Liar. I'm surprised you tell such a terrible lie, Nikki. Confess. Maria, you tickle his right side, I'll tickle his left. Ooh. I've got his right side, Battler's got his left. Ooh. Wait a second. Wait, you too! Ha ha! Stop! Ha ha ha! Maria and I played around chasing George and Nikki as he tried to escape rolling on the bed. I realize high schoolers aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still miss this kind of fun. A warm, cozy kind of fun. George, what are you asking Kuwasawa? Well, I've got a good guess. It's been a year since the last time he visited the head family. Who knows what servants might come and go during that time. Would have come and gone during that time. Either way, it looks like he'd like to go and say hi. Ooh? Say hi. I want to say hi too. What the hell? That's nothing to feel guilty about, Aniki. I'm not buying it. Maria, don't be fooled. Aniki's still hiding something. More torture. Whoa! Stop it, seriously! Yeah! Maria-chan, you too, stop it already! She's probably busy cleaning or getting lunch ready. Don't worry, she'll drop by and say hi sooner or later. Oh, I knew it was a girl. Heh, I bet you'd rather be welcomed in by Shannon instead of that nosy Goda. Shannon? Shannon. Ah, yeah, I remember a girl with that name. Is she still a servant? How's she doing? By the way, Natsui-san, how's your headache been lately? It seemed pretty serious before. I've been much better lately. Thank you for your concern. Oh, right. Here. The present for you, Natsui-san. Thank you very much. I'm always receiving gifts from you. Is this the black tea? It's the herb tea with peppermint and lemon balm. It's a blend from a well-known store, and it's supposed to be good for headaches. I thought it might help you too. Rosa was always a contentious woman. Probably because she knew she was the youngest. Probably because she was the youngest of four, and much younger than the other three. She managed to grow up without gaining the venomous nature of her siblings. Her kind words got Natsui to soften her expression for just a moment. But it wasn't enough to melt her stony gaze, hardened as it was by long years of mental stress. Come to think of it, you're always complaining about those headaches. Pull yourself together. Jessica-chan has her exams this year, right? That's going to be a turning point in her life. Will she really be able to rely on you as a mother if you're like that? Dang! These people are mean. Besides, Natsui, you should get your act together. I apologize. I've had a tendency of headaches my whole life. Even under normal circumstances, Eva sometimes failed to choose her words carefully. But her comments aimed at Natsui... It's Natsui. Contained shards of obvious malice, though she hid it with a smile. Of course, that fact didn't escape Natsui. She frantically contained her urge to grimace and pretended to ignore Eva. Oh, Balor would have his exams this year too. Rudolph-san, shouldn't you be a little concerned as well? For the sake of your own son? You better get serious to the point of having headaches like Natsui-san. If I say anything, he automatically rebels. So what should I say? Should I say the opposite? That it's okay for him to mess around? That'll probably be the only way to get him to listen to me. Hideyoshi-san, George did really well in his exams, right? Please, you gotta teach me the trick to handling children. Well, it's probably because I got him to understand why he should study. Study isn't worth anything on its own. That's right, the real point of studying is to practice researching stuff on your own whenever you bump into something you don't know. If you can't do that, you can't be useful to society. I'm not talking about math or writing. You gotta learn how to learn. That is very true. That's splendid. I wish our Jessica could understand that as well. If she is to be the heiress of the Ushiromiya family, then at this rate, do you really have to force her into becoming the successor? After all, a woman has to find a woman's happiness. Parents shouldn't force such things on their children, don't you think? Hold your horses, Eva. Each family has its own way of raising their kids. You should be pushy. I'm sorry. Natsui, don't take it the wrong way. Though the light shining through the windows was quite warm despite the cloudy weather, there was a dark mood about the room, which was probably causing headaches for more than just Natsui. As if to sweep away that mood, Karie brightly made a suggestion to all present. Still, this black tea has a really lovely aroma. Let's drink it right away. In Japan, surely you couldn't find something like Leopold's black tea anywhere but Ginza, right? I see you know a lot about it, Kirie-ni-san. I guess it was worth going to the trouble of buying it. Kirie and Rosa stood up from their seats as if to prepare the black tea, but Natsui forestalled them. I thank you both, but we really can try that later. One of our people will soon be coming to bring some tea, so please relax. Leave it for later, you two. Let's enjoy our welcome drink. Rudolph gave a subtle signal with his eyes for them to sit down again. Kirie and Rosa understood instantly and obediently returned to their seats. The initial greeting of the guests was complete, so it was time for them to be served some tea. It was embarrassing for the host that the tea was late, especially now that the guests were talking about making tea themselves. Natsui bit her lower lip, frustrated by the ineptitude of servants who were late bringing the tea. Seeing her face, Eva immediately started to giggle. Ava. Sorry, Ava. Of course, Shannon had no way of knowing what was taking place in the parlor. She came pushing a serving cart piled up with teacups. Alright, I'm intrigued to see what Shannon looks like. For no apparent reason, Natsui gave her a pained look, and Shannon couldn't help but flinch without knowing what she'd done wrong. Oh. Does everyone have ginormous gazongas in this? Excuse me. Your tea is ready. Oh, Shannon-chan. It's been a while. You keep getting prettier every time I see you. Oh, thanks. Save the chatting for after you set the table. The tea will get cold. I apologize, madame. She apologized like a small, frightened animal, bumped against the serving cart and made a jarring racket as she dropped several teaspoons. Her clumsiness made Natsui's expression turn even darker, which made Shannon quail even more. Come on, Natsui. There's nothing wrong with her exchanging a few words and a greeting. The tea must be plenty cold already, considering how long we've been kept waiting. There's no need to worry. It's not cold yet. Shannon, finish setting the table quickly. I'm sorry, madame. Natsui's irritation was obvious by now. The ineptitude that delayed the tea and the clumsiness of the servant. Everything pointed to incompetence of Natsui's everyday leadership, making her lose face. As the person in charge of the Ushiromiya head family kitchen, allowing that clumsiness to be exposed today of all days was certainly nothing less than a total humiliation. Lay off, Natsui Nisan. Don't you think it's a little harsh to bully Shannon when she's trying her best? I'm not bullying anyone. What a nice aroma. May I ask what brand this is? I'm terribly sorry. I'll find out for you later. Korea was trying to be nice, hoping to cut through the tense mood. However, Shannon had embarrassed herself instead, darkening Natsui's face and the room's mood. By this point, Ava was audibly giggling. What's this? Shannon-chan. Don't you even know what you're pouring us? Come now, you mustn't serve us something so suspicious to guess. We'll need a silver spoon at the very least before we drink this. I'm sorry. I'll go get one immediately. Shannon-chan, do you know what silver spoons are used for? They have to be silver. Do you know why? I'm guessing it has something to do with poison. No, A teasing smile rose at Ava's face as she stared at Shannon setting the table. By itself, Ava's expression was sweet in an impish sort of way. However, the words being spun from her lips held the keenness of a razor within them. Shannon tried with all her might to avoid Ava's continuing gaze. Realizing that Shannon was hard-pressed for an answer, Rosa gave some timely help. They say that if silver's touched by poison, it darkens. Giggle. Guess you learned something today, Shannon-chan. I was right. I feel like probably everyone watching this probably knew that already too, though. They were acting as though if the tea needed to be tested from poison before it could be drunk. In Natsui's eyes, this was an insult both to the tea and to herself for serving it. Rudolph laughed flippantly and patted Ava's shoulder. Ha! Silver cutlery won't do anything good for you, Aniki. Just one lick of your poisonous tongue and even a silver plate would turn pitch black. Whoa! Since I get to hear that poisoned tongue every day, I must be poison-proof myself by now. I'm gonna laugh if this guy gets poisoned. Ava, don't mind when you use it on me, but you better hold back when talking to people who have built up a resistance. My, how cruel. All I did was teach Shannon-chan a bit about tea, didn't I? Hee. Everyone followed the lead set by Hideyoshi's hoarse laugh and chuckled, though not easily. Only Natsui didn't join in, but from the time being, the conversation inside the parlor could now be mistaken for a lively and friendly chat. As Shannon finally finished setting the tea table and tried to leave, Kirie apologized to her in a low voice for not being able to help. Shannon gave a light bow and made a hasty retreat. Shannon cast her eyes downward as she pushed the cart down the corridor. Anyone seeing the pitiful way she looked might easily conclude that she'd been bullied in some way. Yeah, no shit. Don't be sad. You didn't do anything wrong, Nissan. You were watching? That's my role. Madame and Ava can go to hell. But the worst coward is that guy. Cannon glared hatefully at the opposite direction of the parlor. The preparations for the tea had been delayed by some trifling problems in the kitchen. These problems were not Shannon's fault. In fact, it had been Goda's mistake. After all, there was no way a show-off like Goda would give up a flashy job like bringing in tea when the guests arrived. He had ended up wasting time preparing tea once again. So when he realized he wouldn't be able to score any points for this job, he pushed the task of setting the table onto Shannon, who just happened to be passing by. You might call it a clever move on his part, but there could be no doubt that it was a cowardly one. This is like some Downton Abbey stuff with the servants. It's okay, Cannon-kun. Thanks. I'm not bothered by it at all. Cannon's silence vividly expressed the distance between Shannon's words and how she actually felt. Even if you're the only one who understands, I feel a bit better. You keep your feelings too bottled up, Nii-san. You should be less hard on yourself for once. Yeah. Thanks. Suddenly they both felt someone's presence and whirled around. A middle-aged man stood there. It was Genji, the head servant. What are you doing there? Shannon, hurry back to the kitchen. Yes, if you'll excuse me. Shannon humbly obeyed and promptly made a push to the cart and leave. However, Penny appealed to Genji in silence, bearing something in his eyes that he could not express in words. What is it? Did something happen? Shannon didn't do anything wrong. But even so, they... Stop it, Cannon-kun. Please excuse me. I'll return to work immediately. So, I'm guessing Cannon maybe not actually is. I don't think he's actually related to her, but has a crush on her. Cannon-kun, you should go back to your post too. Please. If you say so, Nii-san. If that's all, then go. Yes, if you'll excuse me. From the shadows of the hallway, an old woman wearing an apron watched over them. It was Kumasawa. Poor Shannon-kun, Cannon-kun. There's no reason for those two to be picked on. Still, Goda-san's dislike for them is an undeniable fact. Until Goda-san was taken in by the Ushiromiya head family, I hear he worked in a fabulous hotel somewhere. The manner of work he learned from there was quite impressive, I believe. It's just that Goda-san's the newest servant here. He must have a lot of pride accumulated from his previous positions. Because Shannon and Cannon are his seniors here at the mansion, and yet are inexperienced and have gone through much less in life than he has, he picks on them any chance he gets. And also, sad as it may be, they are disliked by Madame Natsui too. Of course, we're talking about experience. The Madame has been in his family much longer. And yet, this is one point where I cannot help but sympathize with the Madame as well. Truly, the Master is a man with many sins on his conscience. Why didn't he realize that such a trifling whim of his would give Madame such an inferior complex. Of course, on the inside, even the Madame is fully aware that those two didn't deserve to be treated so harshly. However, the heart has reasons that reason knows not. I feel so sorry for them. I can't do anything but watch over them from the shadows. Oh. What just... Oh, okay. That threw me off. I was like, what's going on here? The four of us cousins were enjoying our stories and just shooting the breeze. Anyway, there were both girls and guys here. Plus, we had people over with over a wide spread of ages, adult, high school, and elementary school. Even if we just talked about our own lives, the other three kept listening intently. I think I'm finally getting used to all this. Jessica and Maria have grown more than I could have imagined in the past 6 years. To be honest, I was feeling a bit uncomfortable, but talking like this, I guess that on the inside, there's nothing's really changed since then. I agree. You haven't changed a bit, even after 6 years. Even though your body's gotten gigantic, you're still a kid inside. Ooh? I'm a kid too. Well, even you aren't going to be a kid forever, are you, Maria? I mean, you're going to transform from a kid into a cute young lady, aren't you? And when that happens, that flat as a board chest will reach Jessica's level, huh? When that happens, you gotta let me touch him, okay? Oh my god. That's a it's a promise. Oh god. That is creepy on so many levels. I just... Oh! And let you touch him. Promise. Ooh, what the hell is... No, Maria-chan. Yes, I agree with this George here. You can't make that kind of promise. That's bad. Ooh? I promise so I'll let him touch him. I'll keep my promises. Always keep them. Ooh. God. Maria, you really are an earnest good girl. The guy you marry is going to be really lucky. Hey, stop trying to change the subject by making it sound pretty. Maria, that promise will never happen. Never. Ooh. The promise is canceled? Ooh. As I thought, without Battler-kun in our little quartet, this group of cousins just didn't feel complete. These 6 years have been kind of lonely. That's true. Well, didn't really goof off like this. Still, we would have had some pretty constructive conversations, right? Stuff about preparing for our future, exam taking, finding jobs. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now that I'm here, we just talk about stupid stuff and mess around. But I'm having more fun this year. Ooh. That's true. I agree. This year is the most fun yet. Maria's words probably spoke for everyone present. George stroked Maria's head and she giggled like a happy kitten. Pardon me, your meal is ready. A timid knocking sound and the equally timid voice of a young woman came through the door. Jessica answered brightly. Shannon, come in. You remember Battler, right? Jessica stood up from the bed and opened the door. There stood a servant girl who must have been about our age. It's been quite some time since we last met, Battler-sama. It's nice to see you after 6 years. It's me, Shannon. Trembling a little as she noticed me, she bowed deeply. Alright, we're about to have a little thing here, I could tell, between little triangle. Then we also have Battler's stepmom that's gonna swipe in, I hope. Ah! Jessica had me surprised, but look at you, Shannon. You've turned into a total beauty too, haven't you? You are too kind. Still, the food on this island must be really nutritional, huh? What are you eating? And how are you training to get boobs that big? Guess I'll have to feel them a bit and see whether yours or Jessica's are bigger, okay? With both hands poised and saliva dribbling from my mouth, I closed in. For the sake of justice and my personal honor, I like to point out that I don't suffer from some type of strange disease that makes my lymph nodes itch until I scratch my neck open, and which can only be prevented by fondling breasts. That is a Higurashi tie with the Hanemizawa syndrome. This is just a battler-style method of communication. I don't know if that's acceptable in this world. I'm gonna guess no. If I slowly close in on her like this, odds are 8 or 9 out of 10 that I get slapped or clobbered, right? So I guess, I could use this battler some original technique to spark a gag like that and break the ice. Well, it also means I do get to touch him in the 1 in 10 chance though, right? Haha, like that ever happened. At that point, my hands were less than a centimeter away from Shannon Chan's boobs, but the counter-strike had yet to come. She blushed and lowered her head in embarrassment when she realized what was going on, but she just stood there with both her hands politely joined in front of her, not even trying to resist or cover her breast. Hey, I wasn't planning on doing this. Please, hit me right now. I'm seriously gonna... Which is why I was glad that Jessica chose this time to drive her elbow into the back of my head. Yeah, ow! Thank you so much, Jessica. Why the hell are you thanking me? Seriously, my bad, Shannon. I almost got overwhelmed by your hypnotic chest. More importantly, anyone who gets that close has got to be a molester. You've got to fight back when people do that. But you are an important guest, Battler-sama. Now look here, a pervert's a pervert, whether he's a guest or not. That girl's chest has got to be an air defense identification range of about 10 centimeters or so. Once someone trespasses within 2 centimeters, that's already an invasion of airspace, so you better scramble the jets immediately and give them an instant slap. I couldn't do such a thing, because we were on furniture. Of course she didn't want her breasts touched, but if a guest so desired, she was prepared to sacrifice herself to suit her wants. A girl like this needs some urgent protection. To think, such devoted girls still existed in this era. It's enough to make a man dizzy. But no. No. I'm coming at you with a perverted face again. Knock me down. Look out, pervert on the loose. This gag can't end until you deliver the punch. So slap me. Please, hit me. I cannot fulfill your request because I'm furniture. But if it were an order, I'd obey you. Because that's my duty. Then I'll make it an order. The next time Battler tries to touch your breast, counterattack with a slap. Got it? Yes. As you wish. From now on, that's what I'll do. Please understand, Battler. Shannon announced while bowing elegantly to me. Her expression was radiant. I gave her a thumbs up to show her it was fine with me. 6 years ago, you might have been mistaken for a servant's daughter who lent a hand at your parents' work. But now you're a full-fledged adult servant. How long have you been working here? Well, I've had the pleasure of serving this household for about 10 years. The kanji for her name are read as Shannon. Now here's another name that's far from typical for a Japanese person. Back in the day, I was a kid myself, so I accepted her name without paying much attention. Thinking about it now, though, her name's pretty unusual, even though she's not a member of the Ushiromiya family. Maybe she's a servant. Maybe it's like a servant's professional name or something, like stripper has a different name. If so, that might explain why her name's so similar to Kanon-kun, that kid I met earlier in the Rose Garden. She's a long-term servant who served here since she was 6 years old. Her appearance changed so much that I couldn't match her to the person in my memories, but both knew each other 6 years ago. That shy part of her had always been there, but she did have developed the allure that you'd expect of a girl of her age, especially in her breasts. Yes. All right, I'm gonna stop here for right now, guys. Let me save. Pretty good. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break because I talked for a really long time. So, but yeah, still character building. I'm gonna try to really crank through this as quick as possible because I do want to get into the actual story. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. But I'm excited to see where it goes, and yeah, if I pronounce something weird, like a particular word, let me know. I have been practicing on my pronunciations of some of the vowels in Japanese. Once in a while I've been mixing them up, so I apologize for that. And yeah, I'm not able to get the voice actors on here. So and my voice acting, if you could call it that, is completely the same for every character every time, but yeah, well, it's some of the fun. So yeah, thanks for following, and guys, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to be going through this whole game, so excited for this.